So just as an introduction, since we didn't get a I'm Paul, and I'm glad you're here. A couple things just to know. If you need to use the bathroom, if you walk up the driveway, go around the house, you'll see off to the left a little wood-fired oven. The next building is an outhouse. And you're welcome to it. If you're thirsty, right in front of that black 4Runner up there, you'll see across from my truck is a drinking fountain. If you brought a water bottle, I encourage you to pour it out and get this water because it's really good. My water comes from the glaciers in the Olympics. It's 7.3, it's alkaline, and it's really delicious. It's awesome water. And I just feel so thankful just, where I live. I mean, look at the air I have. I have incredible water. I grow the finest food in the world. It's just, I heat with wood. I mean, it doesn't get better. It's just the most comfortable, awesome way to live. And I feel so thankful. Yes?
No, I was just going to add on to what you said about natural flavor and sweetness. When we do that artificially, then we end up being addicted to salt or sugar.
Yeah.
You end up with heart problems or diabetes or something that you probably wouldn't have had.
Not probably. You would not have had.
Yeah.
It's a given. All disease is a result of malnutrition. Did you hear me? All disease is a result of malnutrition.
Yes.
We were fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. Our bodies are intelligent. And if they're properly supported with good food, they cannot get sick. It's impossible. It's impossible. And it's just, disease is a result of malnutrition. And we've got to wake up to that reality. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but we're living in a time in history where if you're not growing your own food and know who does, you're not going to be well. Because the food in the store is not safe to eat. It is totally corrupted. It's huge. And it's not, and I just feel so thankful. I don't even go to the store, ever. Never go to the store. Because there's no reason, and I never realized, because I don't go to the store, how bad the food is. My wife travels the world. She's a midwife. She travels all the world teaching. And every time she comes home, and sometimes before she says, when you come to the airport, bring greens and water.
Oh.
I'm starving for food. She says, there's no place in the world that I get food such as I have at home. And so in Friday Harbor here last year, they did a film festival and showed back to Eden. They wanted me to come to answer questions. And so they provided housing. It was really nice. And Friday Harbor is a nice place. Affluent people live there. It's not like a rundown place. And I had a sense that I'm going to take some pears with me. Because I just was enjoying my pears, and I eat those every day. So I just took some pears. I went to Friday Harbor, and I went into the store, and I could buy nothing. Everything looked good, but I knew what it was. And I lived the whole 3 days of there on nothing but my pears. Because there was nothing in the store I could eat. Because when you have nutrient-dense live food, all that counterfeit stuff doesn't get it. You know better. You know that isn't food. And it's just so pathetic how my wife bought some organic grapes the other day. I couldn't eat it. There's just no flavor. There's nothing to it. It's not food.
It's like strawberry.
I don't care what the label says. It's just not food. Because I know what the real is. I got grapes. I got strawberries. And I know what they taste like. And this is not it. And when you know what the real is, the counterfeit just doesn't get it. And so it's just so fun. I just feel so blessed. And every year my food just gets bigger and better. So it's just awesome. As we progress on the tour, I encourage questions because that really helps me be connected to you. And this is not about me, and I have no agenda. And I just want you to get everything you can out of here. Just as an introduction, this is what I want to show you today is the amazing provision the Creator's provided for us to have nutrient-dense food really easily anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world you can do this because everywhere in the world things are growing well with no attention. Have you noticed in nature no one shows up to work? Have you noticed in nature no one shows up to work? And everything's growing really well. Far better than when we show up to work and mess it up. You'd have thought that the Dust Bowl would have woke us up as a country, as a people. That was a significant event, the Dust Bowl. But we didn't get it. We keep doing it. And have you ever flown across the United States in the wintertime, late fall, and it's clear and you look down? It looks like a cracked, broken desert. It is pathetic how terrible it looks. And 200 years ago when we came here, that whole space was covered with 8 to 12 inches, 12 feet, 8 to 12 feet of topsoil that is no longer there. It's all blown and washed away because of cultivation. And you know how long it takes in nature to build 1 inch of topsoil? 1 inch, 100 years. It's scary. It's incredible. And I just feel so blessed at my place is that, man, I'm gaining multiple inches because I'm bringing the stuff in mass and I'm gaining ground. I got deep, awesome soil here, amazing stuff, because I'm upgrading. You know, I'm doing it in greater volume than what happens in nature. Because in nature, every fall, the Creator puts a covering of needles and leaves over the planet. Pretty light. I'm bringing it in volume, and I'm really gaining ground. And it's just so fun to watch things just turn around because it's so good. Nature's so good. I like to use examples to demonstrate the power of covering. You see the sequoia trees here?
Sequoia trees?
Sequoia trees. You see how nice and green that foliage is, how healthy they are? I mean, you can look at those and say they're doing well.
Yes.
Do you know what's feeding them? What's feeding? Look at the ground. What's feeding those trees? Their own needles, period. They're getting no fertilizer. No fertilizer. And look how green that is. I want you to know Miracle-Gro at no level would do that. I'm being honest. Miracle-Gro at no level would ever get it that green. And that's happening with nothing but needles. I'm bringing this to your attention because I want you to get how simple this is and how powerful it is. Now, you know from experience, you know anything about trees, that the roots from that tree are under your feet. They're way out here. And if you look at that rhododendron right there, that is growing in the root ball of that sequoia. Everything around that is surrounded and full of roots. And that rhododendron looks that good growing in the root ball of that sequoia. Now, if that sequoia was in dirt, no wood chip cover, you wouldn't be growing that rhododendron. You couldn't even break the ground to get it in there. Are you hearing me? And you look at the health of that. That's growing in the root ball of that sequoia. And there's plenty nutrition for both. In contrast, I want you to all come up here because I want you to look across the fence at my neighbor's rhododendron. Right across the fence there, you see that rhododendron?
Yeah.
Little red flowers starting to happen. You see the difference?
Why is that?
Well, let me explain why. You see, this is, I want you to hear me real clearly, is that everything you're taught in school are lies. I'm going to demonstrate it all day long. Everything you're taught in school are lies, and I'll give you the reason spiritually. The God of this world is Satan, who's the father of lies.
Yes.
He's the one that's running this show. And everything you're getting under that supervision are lies. And so my neighbors who went to school, who are well educated, were told they could put landscape cloth. See that black cloth out there? That landscape cloth, you can see that black cloth? You can put landscape cloth down to prevent weeds. I want you to notice that the landscape cloth on top, the wood chips are on top, the weeds are growing fine.
You're right.
Okay? Here's the irony. They spent money to put this stuff down. You can see the wood chips have come off places, so it's exposed and it's ugly. And here's the insanity. The weeds are growing fine, the wood chips on top of it, but all the life force from the wood chips can't get through the landscape cloth to feed the rhododendron, and it's starving. And here they paid money to create this negative. I'm just telling you, it's huge. The stuff we're told that is so counterproductive and stupid, and we pay money for it. It's incredible. And you think about the whole concept of agriculture. In nature, and I want to give you something here early on. I want you to take this home with you and never forget it, because this is why you came today. If you're ever told something and you don't see the example in nature, rest assured you're being lied to. I'm being honest. Because let me tell you about nature. Everything in nature is free, it's abundant, and it's unlimited, and non-toxic. Conversely, everything they're selling you is expensive, it's limited, and it's toxic. It's huge. It's totally huge. Amazing, you know? And we got to wake up to it. So when you think of cultivating, tilling, nothing in nature is ever tilled. And when you till the ground, you kill it. You totally kill it. You see, before you tilled, there's all kinds of living organisms living there. You see worms are the biggest, but there's hundreds, thousands of mycelia, bacteria, fungi, all these amazing things living there, all having their homes, their babies, and supporting the life of that soil. And when you till, you kill them all, and now you have sterile soil. And you labored to do that. I mean, you went out and worked hard to kill your ground. You wonder when, and this is why I have to use fertilizer, because there's nothing live anymore. You took it all out. Crop rotation never happens in nature. You follow me? Crop rotation never happens in nature. And we're out there laboring to move stuff around. How stupid. Everything in nature drops the seeds in the ground, right? So every year for decades, centuries, and they're fine. In nature, there's no fertilizing, ever. No one fertilizes. And everything's quite green, doing quite well. In nature, there's no weeding because there aren't weeds. Ground's covered. There's no weeds happening. Go in the forest, there's no weeds. In nature, there's no watering. It all happens with rain. This orchard here, 38 years, never been watered. Ever. I didn't have water. That's how I got onto this. It was a great gift. No water. I went to God, He showed me how to go sell that water. It's cool. This makes it really easy. You know, I could be gone all summer and my garden's fine because it doesn't need me. It does good. It just takes all the work out. So I just am trying to get your attention that all these things you believe in or have been doing and been told are lies. And you can always go to nature to validate that. If it's not happening in nature and you're being told to do it, chuck it, man. It's not true.